Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. President Volodymyr Zelensky says around 137 Ukrainians died on the first day of fighting. The Agence France Presse also reports that over 300 have been injured in Ukraine following the large-scale attack from Russian forces. The same agency also reports that Zelensky has signed a decree ordering a general mobilization of Ukraine's military. This decree, which will be in effect for 90 days, also calls up conscripts and reservists in all of Ukraine's regions. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet, says she's deeply alarmed by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Speaking on Bachelet's behalf, spokesperson Ravina Shamdasani said the attacks violates international laws and must be halted immediately. Shamdasani said a UN human rights monitoring mission remained in Ukraine and is continuing to monitor the situation closely.
UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Michelle Bachelet is deeply alarmed about the Russian Federation's military attacks against Ukraine. This military action clearly violates international law and puts at risk countless civilian lives. It must be immediately halted. States that fail to take all reasonable measures to settle their international disputes by peaceful means fall short of complying with their obligation to protect the right to life.
OFWs needing medical assistance have been addressed. Speaking to the chiefs, Hong Kong Consul General Rally Tejada said Hong Kong has released a labor circular reminding employers of their responsibility to take care of their employees. Recall that just last week there were reports of domestic workers who were forced to live on the streets amid the spike in cases of COVID-19 in Hong Kong. Tejada also said that the situation has gotten better as they coordinate with the Filipino community to provide isolation rooms for infected OFWs.
In general po, compassionate po ang mga employers. Nangyari po na nagpapaba sila. Ngunit we're doing something about that. We've warned the employment agencies and we've warned also the employers not to do this because this is a violation of the contract and also the laws of Hong Kong under the employment ordinance. And kinakausap rin po natin yung Hong Kong labor, and we've been pressing them to remind the employers of their obligation to our workers.
The Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines has released their pastoral letter for the upcoming elections. To give us more details, we have Jen Calimon reporting live from Quezon City. Good morning, Jen. Happy Friday. The Catholic Church has had something to say this time as more and more leaders, it appears, have been speaking out about these elections. How is this set to affect the upcoming elections based on what's been said?
Yes, Charles. So as we commemorate the EDSA People Power Revolution today, the day we reclaimed our freedom, the CBCP has released a pastoral letter to provide moral and spiritual guidance this upcoming elections. They said that they will keep encouraging the church to be more positively involved in politics, in which Pope Francis said the politics of the common good, because we have the tendency to link politics with negative things such as harassment and political dynasty, among others. And also the CBCP is proactively encouraging the rest of the church to get involved in empowering the voters in a consensus building to help a candidate that supports Catholic teachings to win in the elections. After all, Charles, it's a choice between the good and the evil according to the CBCP. Charles?
Yeah, talking about evil, one of the problems, insofar as our elections is concerned, would be the disinformation that is running rampant, especially on social media. What does the CBCP have to say about this?
Well, the CBCP is appalled by the blatant and subtle distortion, manipulation, cover-up, repression, and abuse of the truth, like historical revisionism and the proliferation of fake news and false stories. And so they warn everyone of the radical distortions in the history of martial law and the EDSA People Power Revolution. They also said that they do not want the dark age of martial law to happen again. Charles?
And of course, Jen, today is the 36th anniversary of the first People Power Revolution. What is the Catholic Church's message to the Filipino people today?
Well, they simply told everyone to stand up for truth because service without truth is manipulation, and an election or any process that is not based on truth is but a is a deception and cannot be trusted. So in the view of the upcoming elections, they call on everyone, especially the youth, to examine carefully what is happening in our quest for a true and just society, listen to our conscience, and be engaged in dialogue and discernment, says the CBCP. Charles?
Thanks for that, Jen. That was Jen Calimon reporting live from Quezon City. Vice President Leni Robredo believes that the spirit of the EDSA revolution lives on. In her message for the anniversary of the People Power Revolution, Robredo explained that the essence of EDSA is alive, as proven by those who continue to help the community, and by a government that prioritizes uplifting the lives of its people. She added that the story of EDSA is beyond names and figures. Rather, it is a story of love and unity among all sectors of society.
Puso at pagmamahal ang nagdala ng tagumpay ng bayan sa EDSA. At tuwing isinasabuhay natin ang pagmamahal na ito, People Power man o People's Campaign, sa mapayapang revolusyon man o napakahalagang halalan, kaisa natin ang lahat ng henerasyong nauna at susunod pa, sa pagtindig, pagkakapit-bisig at pagbubukas ng loob sa kapwa, sa ngalan ng isang maunlad, mapagpalaya at makataong bukas.
Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, a few people still went to the People Power Monument in Quezon City today to commemorate the 36th anniversary of the 1986 EDSA Revolution. To give us the latest, we now have Maricel Halili joining us live from Quezon City. Good morning, Maricel. About how many people would you say attended the anniversary at EDSA today?
Good morning, Charles. Actually, the program for the 36th anniversary of EDSA Revolution that was attended by Secretary Eduardo Año is already through. It started at around 8 o'clock in the morning. The number of people who attended that particular program is much lesser as compared to pre-pandemic, but now there are rallies who are already here at the People's Monument. These are members of the group Bayan. We have talked to its Secretary General Renato Reyes earlier. They have planned several activities. He said that they actually prepared educational materials. They asked some teachers to educate the people about the historical revisionism that is happening nowadays. He said that this celebration is very important to educate the people of what really happened during the 96 EDSA People Power Revolution, especially now that one of the key personalities back then is actually running for the presidential race. So aside from that, Secretary Renato Reyes also mentioned that there will be impersonators later in the program. And I think they are also planning to have a live selling of Imelda's jewelry. How they will do that, I still don't know. We still have to wait and see.
Right, Maricel, I understand that a certain individual caused scene while the program was ongoing. Could you tell us more about this?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Charles.
Right, Maricel, I understand that a certain man made a scene there at the program while it was ongoing. Could you tell us more about this?
That's right, Charles. A man made a scene earlier while the program for the 36th anniversary of EDSA Revolution is ongoing. He was shouting about how rotten our system is. But some police officers escorted him out of the area. And actually, the police officers were courteous while explaining that this is not, they cannot allow this man to make a scene because the program is still ongoing and there are government officials. But that particular man was quite infuriated because he was insisting that this is a freedom park, so he has the freedom to speak his mind.
Right, Maricel, let's move on to what Interior Secretary Ed Año had to say to the Filipinos who attended this event.
Well, he said that this is a perfect event to make the people remember about the importance of unity, especially of what's happening now, the challenges that the country is facing.
Now, one last question before I let you go, Mase. Do we have any updates regarding the changes in the alert level system in Metro Manila that's probably scheduled for next month?
We asked Secretary about it, Charles, especially that they had a meeting among the members of the IATF yesterday. He said that based on the recent matrix, which was amended by the IATF, Metro Manila Metro Manila still meets the matrix set by the IATF to be placed under Alert Level 1. But let me clarify that there is no final decision yet. The IATF will still have to give their recommendation to President Duterte, and Secretary Anyo said that it is possible that President Duterte himself will make an announcement.
Thank you and stay safe, Mase. That was Maricel Halili reporting live from Quezon City. Time now for a quick look at some of today's headlines. As tensions rise even further between Russia and Ukraine, other countries' economies, including the Philippines, are affected. Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship Joey Concepcion is calling to reopen the economy as much as possible to help us ride through this impending crisis. Vice President Leni Robredo is visiting Iloilo today. Manila Mayor Isko Moreno continues his campaign in Cavite, while former Senator Bongbong Marcos will be campaigning in La Union. And the FIBA World Cup qualifiers continue, with Gilas Pilipinas squaring off against India at 6 p.m. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us again later at 11 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We're One News.